The topic is Dr. Rajendra Prasad, reformer, educationist and jurist. One of the chief architects of modern India, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was an eminent freedom fighter, a renowned jurist, an eloquent parliamentarian, an able administrator, a statesman par excellence, and above all, a humanitarian to the core. An ardent follower and a repository of the trust and confidence of Mahatma Gandhi, he represented all that is best in our culture. As President of the Constituent Assembly and subsequently as occupant of the highest office of the land consecutively for the 2 terms, he played a very important role in shaping the destiny of the nation and left an indelible print on our national life and polity. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, affectionately addressed as Rajen Babu by friends and admirers, was born in a remote village in Saran district of Bihar on 3 December 1884, a year before the establishment of the Indian National Congress, the organization he ultimately headed not once but thrice. His parents Mahadev Shahai and Kamleshwari Devi led a simple, pure and dedicated life. His father was an eminent scholar of Persian and Sanskrit, took great delight in proving free Ayurvedic and Unani medicines to patients approaching him for treatment. His mother, a deeply religious lady, often used to narrate his child the story of Ramayana and Mahabharata. His surroundings had made deep impact on his mind, resulting in inculcation of the finest ideals of fellow feeling, selfless service, purity, sacrifice and humility and simplicity in him. Dr. Prasad village, like many of the typical Indian villages of the 19th century, did not have even the basic facility of a primary school. So, he had his early education by village Maulvi who also taught him Persian. Subsequently, he was sent to a high school in Chhapra district from where he also passed the entrance exam of the Calcutta University. In this exam, he put up a brilliant performance and topped the list. Having passed the entrance exam, he joined the prestigious Presidency College, Kolkata. Despite being a junior in the college, he became a very popular student leader and was elected by a huge margin to the post of Secretary of the College Union. At the college, he was persuaded by the great scientist Jagdish Chandra Bose and others to opt for science subject, but he somehow preferred to join the arts. Even as a student, he displayed deep patriotic instinct. In 1906, he attended for the first time a meeting of the Indian National Congress. And in 1908, he organized the Bihar students in Calcutta, formed the Bihar Students' Conference. This was the first manifestation of the organizational skill of Rajendra Prasad, which grew into a legend in the years that followed. He stood first in BA exam and then joined the MA in English. Afterwards, also joined the law course. While pursuing as a lawyer and simultaneously working as a professor in the Kolkata University, he passed his ML examination in 1915, topping the list. In 1916, with the creation of Patna High Court, he shifted his practice to Patna, which marked a turning point in his life. As a reformer and freedom fighter, much before his arriving in Kolkata to pursue his graduation, his mind and heart were occupied with patriotic and nationalistic ideas. Inspired by the Gandhian ideology, his clarion call to the countryman in his distinct and unprecedented mode of protest against the colonial rulers, he was the first leader from Bihar to sign and undertake a pledge requiring every satyagrahi to remain non-violent during the against the Revolt Act. In 1923, Dr. Prasad actively participated in the flag satyagraha at Nagpur. After Seth Jamlal Bajaj was arrested for leading the satyagraha, the movement was carried on by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. After his arrest, the leadership passed on to Dr. Prasad. It was during this time that Dr. Prasad came into close contact with Sardar Patel, whose friendship and association he cherished as one of the most pleasant memories of his lifetime. In 1920, the Indian National Congress at its session in Nagpur declared Swaraj as its ultimate goal. To spread this message as also the aims and objects of the Congress throughout the country, the party needed an efficient and dedicated band of workers. Rajendra Prasad, a constructive and dedicated workers, toured the entire length and breadth of the Bihar, explained to the people the plans and programs of the Congress and thus established personal rapport with them. His earlier experience of organizing conference during his student days enabled him to successfully make arrangement for thousands of delegates who had thronged to Gaya to attend the Congress session of 1922. For Rajendra Prasad, the Indian National Congress was an instrument for securing the people and fighting for the cause of India's freedom. Dr. Prasad well worked for the betterment of the underprivileged throughout his life. He was an excellent humanitarian whose heart always went to the poor and distressed. He earned great popularity as a social worker while serving the flood affected people of Shahabad district. As chairman of the Patna Municipal Corporation, he wanted to initiate many programs aimed at providing better civic facilities to the people. When a severe earthquake had hit Bihar, leaving thousands dead and rendering millions homeless, realizing his selfless and dedicated social work, the British government released him to lead the committee engaged in relief work to the victims of disaster. He threw himself heart and soul into the relief work and was able to collect over rupees 38 lakh in a very short time. Whatever work he took upon himself, he did it with total devotion, selflessness and care. Even as an occupant of the highest office in India and surrounded by glitter of Rashtrapati Bhavan, he led a very simple life and had a towering personality. As a jurist, if I say, after completing his law study, Dr. Prasad set upon establishing himself as a legal practitioner in Kolkata in 1911. The judges placed great reliance on his legal acumen and logical arguments, for they were the culmination of a deep and thorough study of the subject. No wonder, therefore, that by his intelligence and diligence, he met with success in the legal profession too. Once he was arguing a case before the eminent jurist and scholar Justice Ashutosh Mukherjee, who was also the Vice Chancellor of Calcutta University. The latter was so much impressed by his style of presentation of the case and forcefulness of arguments that he offered him a faculty position in the law department of the university, which Dr. Prasad accepted with gratitude. As a budding lawyer, he continued to play an active role in various literary, cultural and social activities and took keen interest in All India Hindi Sahitya Sammelan. When the Constituent Assembly was established in 1946 to frame a constitution for free India, Dr. Prasad, who had been elected to it from the Bihar province, was installed as its president without opposition. Yes, without opposition. His stewardship of the Constituent Assembly during its nearly 3 years long deliberation stands out as a shining example of his high qualities. During this period, he guided, controlled and regulated the proceedings with utmost firmness, infinite patience, incisive intellect and abundant grace. He permitted members to have a free, frank and full discussion on issues before them and won the appreciation of every section of the House for his skill, objectivity and impartiality. The most important and memorable event of Dr. Prasad's life was when the transfer of power from the British government to the government of India was effected through his hands in his capacity as the President of the Constituent Assembly. On January 24, 1950, last session of the Constituent Assembly, he took the oath of office on 26 January 1950. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, along with India's first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, was able to establish many lasting precedents and conventions culminating in a healthy political relationship between the head of the state and the head of the government. With the passage of time, these precedents have become the cornerstone of our vibrant parliamentary democracy and have helped it in striking firm roots. As the President of the Constituent Assembly, he used to offer his sane advice to the legal pundits to adjust their conservative approach to the revolutionary pulls from many of us. It was always a marvel to us as to how he and Dr. Ambedkar used to hammer out progressive formula which would harmonize progressive thoughts and approaches within the constraint of historical limitations. On the whole, Dr. Prasad's leadership helped in many ways not only Dr. Ambedkar but also other members of the Constituent Assembly of the socialist persuasion. Emerging from the historic soil of Magad, he rose to become one of the front-ranking leaders of India's independence movement and later the first president of our republic. Rajendra Prasad, as he was affectionately called Rajan Babu, along with Pandit Nehru and Sardar Patel, constituted the holy trinity that characterized the Gandhian leadership of our freedom struggle. His devotion and sacrifice for the cause of India's freedom, fought under the leadership of Gandhiji, was exemplary. He was perhaps the most faithful and devoted disciple of Gandhiji, which is evident from what Bapu himself had once observed. There is at least one man who would not hesitate to take the cup of poison from my hand. The service rendered and contributions made by Rajan Babu to India's political and public life have been outstanding. His qualities of head and heart will always be remembered by all. He was goodness and politeness personified. In him were tempered power with wisdom and prestige with modesty. He was a man of incisive intellect, innate integrity, and purity of character. And above all, he was a true lover of humanity. He was indeed a Rajashri and a Azat Shatru. He was a deeply religious man, but he was never carried away by the outward forms and rituals of religions. To him, the basis of religious belief was not material but spiritual in nature. In 1962, the office of President of India, he left, which had adorned for 12 long years, and shifted to Sadakat Ashram in Patna to spend remaining part of his life in its peaceful and quiet surroundings. On the fateful day of 28 February 1963, this great son of Bharat Mata left for his heavenly abode, leaving behind his lofty ideas and ideals which this country will always cherish. In recognition of the humane service rendered by this illustrious son of India, he was awarded the same year the nation's highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna. Thank you.